Today in Coffee with Mikey, we're going over just recent life. I read an article from my executive coach Ethan Evans about um, just review and how we can advocate for ourselves at work and things like that, and build a better relationship with our managers, and in leadership and getting how to get ahead, right? Or how to advance and how to move forward. So, from the executive coach, he said in the article, write down 3 recent wins that you're proud of and practice saying them out loud without downplaying them. And I think that's fantastic because I think a lot of times um, we downplay our wins and accomplishments, right? Like just do it's what it's expected of us, right? Like being good at your job is the bare minimum, right? But I mean, being able to speak to how well you're doing is also part of the process, and also how you highlight your contributions so you feel more satisfied with your interactions with people and not like build resentment because like I've been that person like I'm doing all this work and nobody recognizes it, even though like I feel like I am hurting myself by overextending and showing up more than necessary, and that is something that I built a lot of resentment of, and I really held that for a long time, for years after I left the role, right? And I started to replay these patterns in our master's program. We call it transference, where there's like an emotional event that crystallizes in us, right? And then that emotion, right, um, that moment gets transferred into a different event, a different person, right? Like, and I've done this before. Like, I really had a really bad one-on-one with my boss, and every one-on-one I've had with different people, different bosses, different interactions, I was always very, very guarded because I was afraid of being attacked. Because I got attacked one time, right? And it was a moment where like I was very vulnerable. I want to say like I didn't know where I stood with this person. He was a new boss to me, and he wasn't a very good leader. For me, not to say he was a bad manager or anything, that people loved him a lot. But for me, I think it's just not the right timing, not the right place, not the right people, right? And I have gotten to the point where I was really burnt out, and I was trying to advocate for myself, like I'm really burnt out, and he just didn't see it, or he didn't want to acknowledge that and say like, well, what do you mean? What are you doing to like, what are you doing to say that you're burnt out? Like, what work have you done? And I was just like, I have like all these tickets and stories, this like, and I've like overextended myself, but I wasn't making tickets for everything. I wasn't weaving a tapestry to show the body of work to prove that I was burnt out in his eyes. Like I was just hurt, right? And I didn't even know. So we had limited PTO. That's another double edged sword we can go into, but I just wasn't taking a lot of time off, right? Because I was like, well, it's not accumulating. I don't see it, right? If I don't see it, it's not real, right? Like even like in my brain, right? Like if I don't see the number accumulating, I can't take it off, right? Like if it's a zero, then like there's nothing to take. Um, and one of my old coworkers complimented me on this, right? Like it was a compliment. He meant it as a compliment. And he's like, I've never seen anybody work so much, right? I've never seen anybody take so little time off. And I was like, yeah, but the work has to get done, right? Like I was just trying to like justify not doing it because I was afraid to ask for time off because we had a limit PTO, right? Whatever that means. Um, there is a certain margin where like it's flagged in the system like, hey, is this person like abusing the system and things like that. And that was the opposite, right? Like this is what I have to look out for when I'm leading people. Like, are you taking enough time off, right? Like it's one of the things I ask during one-on-ones, like, are you planning on taking any time off? You should, right? And like our system, the system I'm in now is like they give us unlimited sick time, right? And then we have the standard PTO, like paid time off. So like if we're taking time off for like medical appointments or taking care of a loved one or stuff like that, or sick time and stuff like that, that is covered by the unlimited PTO pool, right? Which I think is like the best way I've ever seen it done. I've never worked anywhere with unlimited sick time, and I think that works out better because um, people don't abuse the paid time off, right? And then there is a allotment of use it or lose it, right? It's not rolling over. You have to take this time off, or it's just lost time, and that's something that I think is good. But, going back to writing down my wins and saying them out loud without downplaying them, I didn't know how to advocate for myself with this manager who I just had bad one-on-ones with. Like, it wasn't all those, not all of them were bad, but like I didn't know how to interact with them, and I was so tired and so crispy from being burnt out. And yeah, over like the 2.5 years I'd worked there, I worked myself into being burnt out for like a year, and it just kept going. And I didn't know how to advocate for myself because I thought like, oh, I'm not like super smart. I'm not really like technically competent in the way that I think other people in my group are. But like then they put me in charge of teaching all the new people, right? Like but I mean, I think it's there's an age gap between the other engineers in the group. Like I was younger than them by at least 15, maybe 20 years, right? They're very experienced engineers, and I was like the new guy that's like in the middle. Um, so they had me bring in the graduating class, the new fresh people, the interns, basically are the new employees that are like fresh out of college. They had me like build out a training pipeline for them, which I'm very good at. I've done that a lot, right? I did it when I was in the military. I did it when I worked at the college, right? Like I worked at a small private college for a couple of years, and they would just like, here are the interns, figure it out. So I helped build a training pipeline and build that in, right? And I think that's really important because onboarding can be a disaster if you don't do it right, and then people get the wrong impression of organization. I've seen that everywhere I've looked at, everywhere I've worked, right? People are so used to, doing the work and getting in their groups that it's disruptive to help onboard other people, right? Because like, oh yeah, like you should have access to this, or like the process has changed. Like, when you work around a security focused organization, like you're auditing people's access and things like that. Like, oh, do you still need access to this? I worked in an organization where like basically one guy came in, like the GRC guy came in, he's like, oh, well, do you need this? Right? And it was my entire body of work of like incident reports and after action report and like this all the vulnerabilities that happened and all the things. He's like, well, do you still need this? And I was like, yeah, it's a historical record of things that have gone wrong and how we fixed them, right? Like it is a body of work that it shows the need for like our need for change management and things like that. And you just like, I think when I left, they just deleted all my stuff, right? Because somebody came back and they're like, yeah, like we like Mikey, but like he worked for us for 2 years and nothing happened. I don't know. I was like, what do you mean? Like, like I busted my ass in that role. Like I lost lots of sleep to try to get stuff done, right? And I had like these Google Drives full of stuff, but I guess when you disable the Google Drive, all the stuff goes away and it gets deleted, right? And maybe the GRC guy went back and was like, oh, we don't need that. It's trash, right? Throw it away. So like, I I don't like that. I spent all this time, energy, and focus to deliver something, and then the frustration of not getting it, not getting recognized for that, it was dissatisfying. It was really disheartening to kind of spend 2 years working as a manager in a group, like struggling for headcount, struggling to make ends meet. It's not the right word, but struggling to work through things, and then having like drastic leadership changes, drastic like people just like, oh well, that what are we paying that guy, right? He's not doing anything. But I'm like, I'm here working in this like silo, trying to improve the process and make sure people have better lives, right? And people that, when incidents happen, that people are responsive. They know what their responsibilities are. They know what the on-call schedule looks like. They know what the expectations are, and setting like standards of excellence to make sure everybody has a good work-life balance. And they just weren't having it, man. They didn't see the value of me being there, and because the leaders that brought me in had left, right? Even they understood the value of like me being there, and there's no advocacy for me in the C-suite or or the D-suite or like at the director level. So here I am as like a mid-level manager without leadership or management above me, like 1 or 2, 3 levels above me, who knew or understood the value of what I was doing. And then we have other groups that are like, yeah, just delete all this stuff, you know. So learning to advocate for yourself is very important. I ended up leaving that place for somewhere that was better. And then, I did have leadership that advocated for me. I did have leadership who really cared. I did have leadership that was like maybe not very empathetic, right? It was, but I did like, you know, build a good bond with, because they really wanted me to win. They really understood like, hey, like if I build world class engineers, I'll build a world class team, right? People that know how to work well together, people that understand the mission, people that have the drive to continue to move forward and improve the product, improve our relationship with other groups. And right time, right place, right people. And like in that, and when I had one-on-ones with that manager, that healed like whatever hurt and pain and um and sadness, right? The five emotions that we look for in coaching, right? Is fear, sadness, hurt, anger, and joy, right? Like I had a lot of joy interacting with this person because I saw him more as like somebody who's like, we're the same age, right? Somebody who was like a little older than me, um, maybe by a few years, who had experience in different places and did care about my well-being. He did care about how I delivered work, right? And our one-on-ones weren't focused on my work deliverables and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, that's what stand-ups for. Like our one-on-ones are based off of making sure that you are meeting your goals, and wherever you go, right, whether you stay here and work with me or you go somewhere else, that you are better for it, right, that you are prepared to take the next step in your life and career. And I saw him as somebody who was like my peer that just happened to manage me, right? Like in the army, like I was a specialist, and we had people who were corporals, right? So like it's the same pay level, right? So like it's still E4, right? So enlisted for, or I don't know, like, so like specialists and corporals get paid the same, but corporals end up having more responsibility for whatever reason. Like somebody has to pay, somebody has to sign for the expensive paperwork, right? Which could be, it's a role and a responsibility that it is recognized, right? So that's how I saw my working relationship with this person, who's a fantastic leader, who really went hard in advocating for us, who really was able to like speak up for himself, and he really he had some great things. He had like something called the question of the day, which I do like, and people on my team love, right? People come to our meeting just to answer the question of the day, right? They really enjoy it. Uh, Not just on my team, but in other teams that they really enjoy the human interaction, getting to know each other better, and it's like an easy icebreaker, and then like it's optional, right? You don't have to answer it, or you're like, oh, I'll answer it later. I'll think of something. And usually people follow up and say like, oh yeah, I thought about this, and people will see in the chat what the question is, and even if they don't make the meeting, they'll answer in the chat, and it's a very humanizing feature exercise that we do as a group. And it's one of the reasons my team is more tight knit than other teams, right? Because it's all just work, and no balance of humanization, um, or emergence, as we like to call it in the master's program. So my role in facilitating emergence as a coach is it's changed since I've started the program. I'm able to recognize these things in my life, and I'm able to recognize what other people have done for me, and say, oh yeah, that person really advocated for me. Like, oh, I'm more self-aware because this person did this to me, and I got angry, and I had to analyze, or like I sat down and analyzed why I got angry, right? Like why did that manager say that to me, and it causes like visceral reaction of like, I'm gonna disengage, right? Like because I didn't have the cognitive capacity, wherewithal to weather through this kind of attack. Like he was like attacking me, from my perspective, and maybe he was just giving me feedback. Now I know how to see things as data, like, oh, it's just data, it's just feedback, right? And I can look at it objectively. But at the time, I was like, why did he say that to me, right? Like I am killing myself for this job, and I'm not being recognized for it, and I felt like I was getting less than the bare minimum, right? Like, and I was like, this is not it. I gotta leave, right? Like, um, and Dr. Henry Cloud has this book called Necessary Endings, which I read years later. I'm like, man, that was a necessary ending. Like, I could have left way, way sooner. I probably could have left 3 or 4 months before that, and not suffered unnecessarily. Um, under that person's management, right? Under that poor leadership. And it was poor leadership for me, but other people really enjoyed working with that person. It's fine, right? Like, you know, you gotta you gotta go where the vibe is right, and the vibe was not right for me, so I left. And I went for somewhere better, and right time, right place, right people. It was much better for me to go to that organization, technically more mature organization, lots of really smart, very helpful people who all are bought into the culture of excellence and improvement. They Every RCA was like the Five Whys RCA, and I really hate it. Like I think you should be able to answer things with two or three whys, but like the five whys really like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Like, why, like, you keep asking why five times just to like really like investigate or go a little deeper and see if there's any insight there. But it just really annoys me. It's like a Mindy from Animaniacs. Like Mindy was a little girl and she would be like, why? And maybe that's it, right? Like I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and watch them and see like if she asked like five times. But like people would just get annoyed. That's their reaction. Like stop asking me these questions, and that's where that comes from. So like I don't know, like anger. It is anger. I don't like being questioned. Um, um, I don't like being questioned in a way that causes me to have an angry reaction. And like, I think a lot of questions are, and sometimes interactions are meant to have an inflammatory result, right? And like, they're not asking for the sake of like learning or knowledge. They're asking, they're asking to get a reaction that's like can be perceived as negative, or get a highlight reel, and get like a sound bite or a video clip of like your response, so they can use it against you, to leverage against you, instead of like, well, why did this actually happen? Like, what is the how do we get to a point where like these problems don't occur again, right? Asking what how questions. What can we do to present this properly? What can we do to prevent this from happening in the future? And those are the kind of questions that um, are open ended enough where like the person can emerge, right? Can help them understand themselves better. And like the more I understand the good one on ones I've had, the better it is. Instead of the accusatory, like, well, I'm running out of excuses for you. Like when the vice president asks what you're doing and I don't have an answer for them, there's a problem, right? Like it just kept. I didn't feel like I was being attacked. I was felt like, oh, I was being asked good questions, so I have a better answer, right? So the quality of your question also equals the quality of your, if you ask a better question, you're going to get a better answer, right? Um, so yeah, I'm learning to ask better questions. So, I mean, write down three recent wins you're proud of and practice saying them out loud without downplaying them. I am on bed rest. So, my doctor gave me 5 days to rest and repair. Right, I hurt my back Sunday. I don't know how. Right, I just pulled my back. I'm just thinking about the level of activity and things that I've been doing, and I don't think I've been doing anything like crazy or different. But I pulled my back, and I went to see the doctor on Monday. He gave me basically the rest of the week off, and I've been resting and I've been in bed. He said that my blood pressure is really high to monitor my blood pressure, and he's afraid of me having a stroke, right? And I have a high pressure job. I'm in grad school. I have a lifestyle that isn't pointed towards being more physical. Like I put on a lot of stress weight in my life. I probably have a lot of cortisol in my system because like I'm just stressed out all the time, and I really don't need any of that, right? Like the point is, he wants to make sure that I don't have a stroke. Even a mini stroke could be life changing, in a negative context, right? Like I mean, I saw my dad post stroke. My dad had a stroke in his 50s. He was never the same. He was never the same. I could see the words, like the words that he was trying to address and speak, but they just weren't coming out. And it really hurt my heart. And I don't want that for my family. Like nobody is going to take care of my family as well as I can, because because they're my family, right? Like nobody's gonna take care of my dogs as well as I do, and give them as much tender love, care, and affection as I will, because I choose to have them in my life. They're not, I don't feel them as a burden. I feel them as like an addition to my life. And that's why I have them, right? Like I felt like I was ready to take them on as a part of my family, as a loved one. So nobody's going to be able to take care of my dogs like I do. Nobody is going to take care of myself like I can, right? Like even if I hire like a nurse after I stroke out, right? If that happens and I go on long term disability, right? Like my quality of life is not going to be the same. I'm not going to be able to do the things like I'm just imagining my dad in the hospital bed after he stroked out, and like he was trying to comb his hair. He asked for a comb, and I gave him a comb, and I saw him like taking care of myself, like taking care of himself, and I was like, okay. And he was like brushing his hair, and like kind of like looking in a mirror and like taking care of himself, and like taking back agency in his life, right? And making sure that um, he's just showing self care, right? Like brushing your hair, right? Looking in the mirror, making sure that like you're you're groomed properly. And that was just like a pivotal moment in my life where I was like, I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't care how I presented myself. And I think that was part of my self-image where like it was showing like I didn't love and care about myself. Like now that I have time to reflect on it, I'm like, oh, I should take care of myself like somebody I love, right? Because I am somebody I love. And the person we spend the most time with is ourselves, right? So we should take care of ourselves like somebody we love, right? We should like ourselves. We should want to spend more time with ourselves and not be distracted or choose not to be distracted. Choose to be intentional about how we spend time with ourselves. And I think that's it, right? That's how I want my life to be. I want to be able to take care of myself better. I want to have a good quality of life well into my hundreds. So yeah, recent win. Doctor put me on bed rest, and I had all this time to reflect because I can't really, I can't really drive very far. I'm just very. There's not a lot of. There's a lot of discomfort in what's going on, so I'm spending most of my time in bed, and I'm trying to move as much as I can. Really go through and do Cobra and cat cow. I haven't done planks yet, and just trying to seek areas of improvement so I don't have injuries like this again, because I haven't had back pain or anything like that since my back surgery in January. So yeah, I mean, good news. My friend Toby dropped off some gumbo, and it's really good, and I really like gumbo. So yeah, they're big pieces of chicken. There's like sausage, and it's fantastic. But yeah. The coffee is Mancor coffee. It's supposed to be like this, like good gut health coffee. I don't know anything about it really, other than it was advertised to me, and I bought it to see how good it is. It seems to be alright. I put strawberry milkshake protein powder here by Jocko, like the Molk brand, like his protein powder brand was really good. I put a creatine colostrum mix in there that I got from a local company. I can't remember their name, but they're really good. I went to go get peptides. So BPC 157, TBA 500, and CU something, I forget, and like a copper peptide. And while I was there was like this colostrum creatine mix that they had. And I was like, "Oh, I need that. Let me get that." And he's like, "Oh, you should take it with I think he said lipids. I can't remember what he said exactly, but like you should take it with milk and other things like protein powder that helps absorb it, right?" So I haven't taken the peptides yet, but I will today, as as soon as I get like this stuff in my system. So I'll just make sure things absorb better and making sure I have a good life, ensuring I have a good quality of life. So my main goal, I mean, probably for the rest of my life, is to maintain an ideal weight. So I think my ideal weight is 185 pounds. Right now I'm 260. So my main goal is to build a lifestyle where I'm not sedentary, that I'm building more lean muscle mass, so I'm moving more, I'm getting more active, and I'm reducing injury. Because like, that's not it, man. being being taken out with back pain is not it. Having the the high blood pressure is not it, right? Like, so I'm taking the time to address these things and being more intentional about that. So that, my recent win is that I'm being intentional about my health, right? I'm taking time to recover properly, to sleep more. Like, it's been a week, and last night was the first night I was able to sleep 7 hours. Um, and I'm learning that, like, I can't just like fall over, like, boop, and fall asleep. I need to have a cool down period, to take like 2 or 3 hours before that, right? Just to settle in, to settle down, to relax more and not have like the high pressure and then just drop off because my heart rate is still up and things like that. So, that's a major win, setting up my cool down, um, and so I can have good, restful, impactful sleep, right? Because I can have a productive rest cycle, a productive sleep cycle. Um, Recent wins, I still was going to class for grad school. I'm putting my papers in, and I'm learning a lot. And not only am I learning a lot from the material, I'm learning a lot from my peers and their experiences. And I'm able to share my experiences unabashedly. Like we talked about, communication styles and how there's a relationship that, one of the doctors highlighted, where there's a man and woman communicating in a romantic relationship, and it was a husband and wife, and the husband will lay down to listen to her, and she thought that, like, oh, he's not listening to me because he's laying down, but he was focusing his senses on listening to her, right, and not being distracted. And when she asked him about it, he's like, yeah, so I can like fully and truly listen to you, right? I don't remember what the exact specific words were, but that was the point of her bringing up that story. And then the next time they had a conversation, he was up and looking at her, and he was like really close and like, making eye contact, things like that. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I thought this is what you wanted, right? Like, he's actually listening to her. And doing the things that she thinks is necessary for her to listen. And she explained it. She's like, no, I just want to know that you're listening to me, that I'm being heard, and like having that human connection. Um, so I don't know if you went back to laying down and stuff like that, but I actually laid down during class because my back was killing me. So I laid down in the dog bed with the dogs in my office, and I was listening. And when it was my turn to speak, because they wanted feedback from everybody about, like, the group interactions, what we learned, I was like, yeah, the laying down thing actually works because I just did it, and people got a good laugh out of it. But like, I was in pain, so I was like disassociating really hard, and I didn't want to like distract the group because of that. Dr. John, one of the professors, asked me, he's like, how's your back? And I was like, it hurts. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But like, that's an honest answer, right? Like, it hurt, and like, I don't want to downplay um the pain, but I also don't want to be detractive or distractive, right? So yeah. The coffee also has raw, unfiltered, local honey in it. It's pretty good. And then what else I put in there? I think that's it. Um, yeah, I ordered some more coffee from Bellwether. I ordered um, 2 different 5-pound roasts, so we'll see how that goes. Excuse me. I think that's it. Take care. Bye.